podcast. Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. Yes, we are back online doing our podcast, being inspired as well because some days are more challenging than others. But talking about changes, talking about where we are, talking about rising from the ashes, but also looking at world and looking at the life we have and finding interestingly enough that it looks like younger generation, no pun intended, feel like they have a sense of entitlement. And it's very interesting because I was looking, again, I'm going to say, am I too much on TikTok? Well, I came across something on TikTok with a young lady who had diplomas and she did not wanted to take a job lower than her diploma, which is fine. This is your prerogative. But she was complaining because she was expecting when she was done with, paying the school, doing the diploma, then she will get the ideal job. Most of the time, you're going to have to trade water before you can get where you need to be. You have to be resourceful as well. Not everything will land on a silver platter for you. That's part of the journey of the growth as well. So having diplomas is great because it gives you the tools that you have learned, but it doesn't give you automatically a job because if you're looking at experiences, if you're looking at are you capable outside of school to be able to apply those, but don't think that every tool you've got are the one that's going to work. What they give you is a theory. What they give you is a practice. Except for doctor or surgeon, by the way. But what they give you is something that you got, going to school is your little toolbox. We're going to fill it up and you can use it. Life will bring you more to your toolbox than what you've got. Now, when we're looking at jobs, yes, you're going to compete against people who have more experiences, but this is how you sell yourself. How do you sell yourself on the front of recruiters and when you're passing HR as well? That's one thing that you need to look at. Unfortunately, and that's been happening for years, nothing new over the rainbow. When you see people or companies allegedly hired when they create fake ads and there is no open position, yes, it is frustrating. And the trend has been for the past few years that ghosting is the best way to instead and say, no, you have not been selected. They just ghost you. You never hear from them in any way, shape, or form, which is and can be extremely frustrating because ghosting it should not be happening. They should have an email saying, oh, sorry, we moved on with better candidates than you. We wish you good luck, blah, blah, blah. That's what it should be, but most of them don't. When you're looking at entering the workforce, then you have to think outside of the box. Sometimes you, instead than going directly and applying for those companies, apply for a consulting company, temporary jobs. Why? Because they can give you the leeway to get in that company. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of companies will hire contractors at any level, actually. It could be from administrative to directors to VP to CFO or even interim CEO, by the way. So do your homework, guys, and approach those companies. Give them your resume and see what they kind of came up with when it comes down to contracts. Those could be short contracts. Every contracts I have done, we're like, oh, we got you for 30 days or 90 days max. And from the 30 days, they extended to 90 days. From 90 days, they extended to 6 months to a year and a half. Because they see how you work. See, it's like a test ride. You go to the dealership. Unless you want to buy the same car, most of the time you're going to go and have a test ride. How do I feel with the car? What kind of options there is in there? This is the same with everybody. It is a safe way for most of the company to hire permanently people. It's to go via a consulting or contractor or temporary jobs. Temporary job is not a bad thing. It gives you the tools. Also, You can go into that company and just like, oh, you're excited at the beginning. And then what we said, the honeymoon phase is over. And then you realize this is not a good fit for you. Then you can do your contract. At the end of the contract, you just contact your quote unquote handler or manager for that temporary company or that consulting company and say, okay, I'm not interested to pursue here. Do you have another contract for me? Do that 2 months before the end of your contracts and they find you something else. So this is a great approach for you to see what company you've got. I've been a consulting world for over 2 decades, way past 2 decades right now. And I had the best time when I was a consulting person, better than a permanent. I didn't have to play politics. I just came over there. I did what I got to do. And some companies were great and some not so much. But it taught me a lot about those companies and what I like and what I don't like. And I gained my skill set. Every assignment that I did were different because I expanded it, my skill set. So as you go into the workforce, think about this. I know some people said, well, I don't want to be consultant. I want to do this. Well, you have the option to start your own business. If you wanted to, you still can do that. But I would say, think about where you want to go. So for this young lady that I saw, the sense of entitlement, well, because I have a diploma, I should. No, you have no guarantee when you're leaving school, with or without a diploma, you're going to land your dream job that's going to pay you 6 or 7 figure. You don't. Okay, unless you know somebody from those companies that will hire you because they know you. But most of the time, it doesn't happen this way. And that is one of the concepts, and I see more and more. We want fast, we want easy. Well, real life is not as fast and easy than you think. It's not a push of a button. You have to go through the process. It's the same when we're talking about salaries, because I heard, and I'm bringing it up again, I'm going to rub people in the wrong way, but that's fine. We're not equal. Men, women, we are not equal. It doesn't matter what gender you are. We are not equal. The key for a salary is called negotiation. Okay. I was driving back here a while ago and I was thinking about one of the interview I went through. It took forever for that. It was like, oh, you're going to interview the VP for this because you're going to report to the VP. I'm like, okay, no problem. Went in there. Then you're going to interview that person. I'm like, okay, I went for an interview for that person. And then you're going to go. And I'm like, holy crap. Are you just getting your crap down here? People, get your thing on the row. Well, when I went for the one of the interview, I was coming back and I was talking with somebody, that person who drives me down to the manufacturing plant. And after the visit, I said, oh yeah, the only thing I got to do is negotiate my salary. I thought I just stabbed her. She looked at me shocked. Wait, I said, oh, never mind. Yeah, that's what I did. I negotiate my salary. However, few keys for people who entering the job force or you're in the middle of negotiation or you want a position. You never talk salary first. Never. Why? Because if you start to talk your salary first, instead of talking and show the interest of the company, they're not going to hire you because they understand you don't give a crapola about the company and you're only here for the money. It doesn't matter if you're here for the money or not. It's not the point. First thing first, you have to pass, it depends on the company, you have to pass HR. And I've done many times where HR said, well, we pay only this. And I'm like, sure. Like, I'm not going to tell you anything and I'm not going to argue with you because you're HR. You're not the hiring manager, actually. So I will go, let them pass to the hiring manager. When you talk to the hiring manager, I don't talk my salary. I talk about what they do. I interview that person. They're interviewing me. I interview them. I want to know more about the company. I want to know more about the department. I want to know more about the positions. And I ask questions as they ask questions to me as well. So this is the kind of things that is important because when you think about landing a job is one, getting your foot in the door. So how do I get it? Do I take my chance and go and be hired directly from a company? Yeah, please do so. Or do I do through a third party, consultant, contractors, whatever you want, temp agency, whatever you want to call them, whatever they call them today. Temp agency is here. Again, they watch you when you do your job. And if they really like you, they will hire you. They will give you that job or open the position for you as well. So it's a nice and a safe way to see, do I like here? Yes or no? Do I feel the environment is good? Yes or no? You never know. Now, again, interview-wise, and I've been taught this to negotiate. So what I did for that specific company, I wanted a certain price because I know my fair market value, okay? If you don't know your fair market value, then you need to be honest with yourself, look at your skill sets, look at what is it worthy. And don't say, oh, yes, I'm worth $1 million. Yes, we're all worth billions of dollars, but you have to be realistic with your numbers. What in the current market you are here, what is it? You do have statistics that you can look at from cities or state for the specific job you're looking for. You look at the years of experience. Based on that, then you do know, because when they interview you, they have a criteria between, let's say, $50,000 to $90,000. This is the bracket. Well, they will have more people around 50 than 90,000, okay? But you can sit down and after you listen very carefully what the manager said, what you see as little holes into how they do things, but that comes with years, this one, but you can see what they need. Then you, after the third interview, have a conversation with him and just said, okay, via email it's best. That's what I did. And I said, okay, for this position, here's what I can do for you. Here's the skill set. And you list, okay, I have this, and this. How do you apply it is the key. I can help you because I'm an analyst and I can resolve and get the forecast for you. I can do pinpoint what works, what doesn't work. Bring all of those skill set and work it and phrase it in a way that you see the point they have and you can help them to close the gap on those pain points. When you do this, this is where you bring freaking miracle because they're not going to say no. And guess what? After I did this, I sent the email. I thanked him very much after that. It was a full freaking page. I'm telling you, it took me an hour or two to think about it, to write it down, get off, save it, come back in. And I did it. I sent it. And that's it. He came back to me and gave me the salary that I was asking for. That wasn't that bad. And at the beginning, he wanted to give me lower. And I'm like, no. Here's what I bring you to the table. Here's what I can do for you and your company. Here's how I can make your life easier. So think about what you've got and what you can bring. And you'll say, well, Emma, you got plenty of years. Yes. But even if you're brand new and green, you do have some skill sets. So what are they? And don't go over the moon saying you're going to save the world because that's not happening. Trust me, in that world, it's not happening, especially where you're going to go and who you're going to work with. But be honest and make sure you get the point across. Now, when people ask, and that's the question that should be banned forever, what are you going to be in 5 years? My answer is always, I have no idea because I could be dead. I could be hit by a bus, or I could win at the lottery, buy an island, and have Amazon dropping all of the boxes I need and be having a great time. I say, I don't know. What I do today will lead me to tomorrow. So helping you and your company to grow is my goal. It's a very simple answer. I'm not going to lie to you and say, well, I am planning to be in your company in that position in the next 5 years because that's awesome. No, you're not, because you're lying to my face. Think about that. As I said, that question should be banned, but I think some company is still asking for it. But being invested to the company, that's what is your interest. Don't say, I want to become a manager, because if you're talking to the hiring manager, you're going to say, well, yeah, you want my job? This is not happening, so have a nice day. You're too ambitious. We don't need another young shark that I have to fight with because they want my job when you probably don't want his job, but he's going to assume you want his job. So be, open to roll up your sleeves, and maybe you're going to take a detour in your life. Maybe it's not going to be your ideal job, but take something to start to put your foot in the door. And I have done it many times to take some contracts and people extended it or open, as I said, open position, or even someone wanted to hire me, but they didn't want to pay. So I look at them, I said, no, thank you, I pass. But think about it and don't use another thing, social media. And I've saying that for the past 2 decades at least. And I shook my head and said, do not vent on social media. Do not make a negative comment in regard of being frustrated. Yes, it is frustrating. It is frustrating then you are not being hired. It is frustrating because you're expecting. That's the problem. You expect because you got a diploma, they should roll the red carpet. This is not happening. Real life is totally different. This is not red carpet. This is not bowing and said, oh my God, it's awesome you're here. No, that's not how it works. Reality is different. Whatever view you have to readjust and you have to becoming flexible. Yes, there is people who have a lot of diploma and they don't even list them in their resume because they will be way over the required skill set. You have too much skill set, so we're not going to hire you because you're going to be bored. Well, I would rather hire somebody who has a lot of skill set because they will help to run the company better than somebody who doesn't, especially on some specific positions. Somebody with a diploma, and I said it many, many years ago, I will hire somebody who has experience and no diploma because he can get the job done. I will maybe hire somebody who has a diploma as an intern for them to learn those skills. But this is this is life. This is how things run. People won't expect we should change because, oh my God, diploma will open the door. Yes, some company will hire you if you have a PhD. Does it mean the people who have a PhD know what they're doing? Oh no, I know some people who could not even run a project and they had PhDs and they was like, okay, well that's good, that's interesting. And you're like, oh boy, I got to deal with this and we got to deal with that. You have learned and you have your little toolbox. Now it's time to open that toolbox and think outside of the box in order for you to get that job. And yes, the market is the market, but guess what? If you start to tell yourself, well, I'm never going to get in because, guess what? Your universe is going to say, well, Emma, if you say you're never going to get in because, we're going to make sure it doesn't happen. Change your thoughts, change your mind, see a different way. Things will happen. And yes, if you have an ego, my ego, put it to sleep. Because a lot of people are offended if they start at the bottom or if they start with a lower title, a lower pay grade or whatever the deal is. And you're like, well, you know what? You have to start somewhere. Start at the bottom of the ladder and move up because you're going to learn more with your skill set. You're going to be humbled and you're going to understand everything, how it works. I have done so many jobs, so many assignments. That I've learned a lot about how company works. Actually, it was very interesting to be able to see through different angles in how everything works. So when I go to another company and I help them with strategy and what I do, then I have a better grasp on how to help them to jumpstart and continue their growth. But again, the attitude you put out there is the attitude you're going to get. So if you're on social media and I understand the frustration, don't put your frustration online because guess what? The hiring manager is going to look at it. So they're going to see you with an attitude and say, we don't want to deal with somebody who has an attitude like that. We want somebody who has empathy, not arrogant, not entitled. I'm entitled. This is what I see more and more is in the entitlement. Oh, well, I am here. It is, public. Do whatever. And like, no, there is no entitlement here. We don't ask you to go on your high horses. Just for a minute, think strategically, how can I get and land a job? And maybe for 6 months, you may be going to be in retail. Maybe that's not ideal as you continue to search, as you continue to be interviewed. But I would say one of the easiest way to get a job, use contractors, consulting companies. They will help you because you will have somebody that's going to fight for you. That's the difference. So for me, when I was looking at what was the easiest way to land a job, it was consulting. Definitely consulting, because those guys want to make a buck as well. Think about that. So if you're hired somewhere, then that company is making money. If you're a very good element, then they're gonna give you better assignment. They're gonna remember you and say, "Oh, Emma has done that. Well, I'm gonna give her. I have another opportunity coming up. I know she can deliver. I know she can do this, and I'm gonna assign it to her. I'm gonna give it to her and say, okay, would you be interested to do this?" So it doesn't matter if you're fresh out of school or if life took a different turn and you got laid off or whatever the deal is. You have opportunity to change, get your toolbox, update your resume, and do not talk salaries when you start to talk in an interview. This is the key, because every time somebody talk about a salary, you basically move yourself out of the equation. They are looking for people to stay for a long time. It doesn't matter if your intention is to stay just for a year or two. You don't do that. That's one of the golden rule if you want to be hired. So think about what you want to do, and think about out of the box, because there is a lot of options you can do to get temporary job that can turn actually to permanent job, and also gives you a better insight of how companies run. So it doesn't mean that because you get that job for 90 days or 30 days or whatever the deal is, because a lot of company, I can tell you that, like Target and others, will do now contract for 90 days. And this is a test run, meaning we're giving it to you for 90 days to see how you're doing. Within 90 days, we're going to see if you're doing good or not. If you're doing bad, have a nice day. We're not going to even think about you twice. If you're that good, we're going to keep you longer, and we will offer you a job, or we will encourage you to apply within some internal jobs. Then you will be landing, because your manager that is watching over you will vouch for you. That's another way to get in. So think about it. So this was our podcast for today. I know I'm back talking about this. I don't know why, but today is the day. We have been recording a lot of sessions with my beautiful friend Jenner Zeno, sorry, my beautiful friend from Studio Stargazer. So I don't know how many did I did, 2 yesterday, and I think I did 2 today, something like that. So we did 4 recording, and just love it. I love his art. So check it out for Studio Stargazers and what we've got over there at the theater. And again, we'll talk soon, meaning I'm recording for next week, starting to record for next week, and we'll talk to you later, guys. All my love, but think about what you want to do, how to negotiate your salary. It's probably the next one I'm going to do is how to negotiate your salary, because this is one of the biggest issue people have. And I didn't like to do that, but I'm going to give you a little couple of tips on this one, and I became very good at it. So for somebody who doesn't like to negotiate that, to do it, I have no issue with that. So all my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now. Emma's Universe Podcast.